What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Young Leader Podcast. My name is Noah. I am your host, and we've got a really great episode. But first, if you're not already, follow us on Instagram at the tyl.podcast. Give us a nice rating on whatever you're watching, like and subscribe, all that. I appreciate it greatly. So for today's topic, we're going to be talking about habits. And just how much they make up who we are. You know, we are who we are based on our habits. We're at a place because of these compounded actions that we've done over time, you know? And that can be a really good thing or it can be a really bad thing. The cool thing is that habits can be learned and they can also be unlearned if you have bad habits. You know, something that I think is so cool is this quote that I've heard Jocko Willink say, "Rome wasn't built in a day." But it wasn't lost in a day either. You know, when you think about this great empire that was being formed, it took, you know, hundreds, thousands of years even to build it up to what it was as one of the greatest powers of the world in that time. But its decline also was gradual. You know, it wasn't just one night when it fell. It was a small decision here. It was a small compromise there. And that's why it eventually fell and became just like everyone else. And I think that is so true in our personal lives as well. You know, the small habits that we're forming today will really define who we are tomorrow. And I think this is basically going to be just an episode about James Clear and Atomic Habits. So if you've read it, bear with us for this refresher. But if not, I would highly encourage you to read it. We'll put a link in the bio to it as well. So in Atomic Habits, James Clear lists out these 3 ways that can really help you build a strong new habit that is good, that it's going to benefit you greatly. And the first skill that he says when making a new habit is making it attractive. You know, so for example, if you want to work out more, making that habit attractive can be seen by, you know, how good you're going to look after months of working out, or how good you're gonna feel, or how healthy you will be. You know, by making that habit seem much more attractive than it is unattractive, you know, because we all know we hate leg day, we hate running on the treadmill, you know, it's not a fun thing, but you make that habit attractive by thinking of all the great, awesome, amazing things that are gonna come by doing it repeatedly. The second habit, or tool that James Clear talks about, is making a habit easy. And this can be seen, you know, for example, we'll stay with the fitness theme that we have going on, but if you're gonna run, you know, you don't start off by just running a marathon off the bat. You start off by, you know, maybe running to the edge of the street and back, or, you know, running a 5K first, you know, making something super easy, super small that you can definitely do. You know, Craig Rochelle talks about how, you know, one year, a small habit that he decided to do was to stop drinking soda. And, you know, that started 5 years ago. He hasn't done it since. And, you know, if you know Craig Rochelle, he's ripped out of his mind. He looks great. Well, it started with a small habit of just not drinking soda. And then from then on, of course, you know, he got into fitness and weightlifting. But that's a great way, or a great example of how a small habit can have an amazing rippling effect. Another great tool that James Clear talks about is making a habit satisfying. Now, what this looks like is like almost as if you're to reward yourself after you do the habit that you've been working on. You know, so say you want to read more. Say, okay, I will allow myself to watch TV, but only if I read a chapter in the book that I'm on. So that's a good way to make it easy, make it satisfying, and rewarding at the same time, is by giving yourself almost like a little nugget of appreciation for what you're doing. The whole synopsis of the book is really just getting better every day, you know, in increments. You know, you're never gonna see a success story that's just like, oh, you know what, one day I just popped up and I made it, you know. All these overnight successes that we talk about, really behind the scenes, it's repeated, day in, day out, small habits that really build up into those compounded results that everyone wants. You know, one of my favorite basketball coaches of all time, John Wooden, he's won the most Final Fours, the most national championships, and his simple habits that he would make his players do were things like tying their shoes right. He taught them all how to tie their shoes correctly so they wouldn't come undone. He taught them even something as small as like putting on socks. Like he would have them put on the same socks that they would play in, so they wouldn't ride up, so they wouldn't leave blisters. So many finite details that he would implement into his practices and into his games, the way he coached, the way he held his athletes to his standard. And, you can see how that paid off with all the banners that he was able to raise, for UCLA, and to go down as one of the greatest, most respected coaches of all time. And even in the book, in Atomic Habits, James Clear, he talks about the United Kingdom, their cycling team, and how they, for years and years, were on the bottom, like to the point where there was a European manufacturer of bikes. They wouldn't even sell their bikes to England cyclists because they were afraid that it would tarnish their brand. And it was soon taken over. I forget the guy's name, but he took it over, and he started putting in sleep studies on them. He got them new mattresses, new pillows. They even they painted their buses white so that they could see dust that they would have missed. He put in so many different health regimens, exercises, nutritional plans for these athletes. And over the course of 5 years, I think they won 16 out of the 19 gold medals in the Olympics, which was record-breaking for them. They had one of their cyclists win the Tour de France 5 years in a row, and slowly but surely, you can see all these tiny little, like, on their own, like, they seem like it's not a huge thing. Everybody wants to hit a home run off, the first pitch, but people don't realize, you don't always have to do that. It's the small daily habits that end up being the biggest results that everyone wants. It's really as simple as that, And the cool thing about habits is that they are so universal. They apply to every single aspect of your life, spiritually, physically, relationally. I think of something my mentor has said to me many times is, you're as close to God as you want to be, which I think is true because he's not going anywhere. He's not running away from you. It's normally that's vice versa, in most cases. And I think that if you can get into the habit, of reading your Bible every day, if you can pray every day, and it doesn't have to be big if you're not already doing it. It can be simple, reading one chapter, finding a study plan that you like, just talking to God like he's right there in the room with you, because he is. These little things can lead up to an amazing relationship with God, an amazing and beautiful relationship. And the same goes relationally. How are you pouring into your family, your friends, your teammates, coworkers, you name it? How are you continuing to make them better? How are you, investing in people? I really believe so strongly that that relationships are the currency of life. And so practicing good habits with relationships is just as important, as if you're doing them at work, And even, we talked about it a lot, but fitness, if you're starting out on like a fitness journey, don't be discouraged by, not seeing fast results. You can go to the gym like 3 times in a week and still, feel overweight, or you can study a subject for an hour in a night and feel like you haven't gotten there. But it's that consistently showing up, a consistent attitude that says, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to do my part today. And you know what? Over weeks, over months, over years, I will see the benefit of not quitting, not giving up, and not, watering down what I believe in, what I stand for, and what I do every day. One of my favorite quotes from this book is James Clear, and he says, you don't rise to the level, I'm going to butcher it, like your expectations, but you fall to the level of your systems. And so if you are trying to, create new habits, I would highly encourage you, build a system, write it out, put it on a vision board or on your wall, when you wake up, make it so obvious and so clear that to not do this habit is, that you're not doing it. It's not like you just forgot. You're blatantly saying, I don't want to do this habit, And so writing down that vision, making it so clear is an amazing way to build in a great system, a great system that says, Here's my checks, here's my balances. I will do this because I wrote it down. I will do this because I said I would, and I'm not going to lie to myself repeatedly saying that one day I'll do it, one day I'll get better. Instead, own it, live it, do it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.